Copes, what a privilege it is today to be joined by one of the superstars of Australian basketball and also one of our very, very closest friends in the legendary Mark Bradtke. His resume is so long that we just don't want to waste time because he's a very important man, Copes, and he's got a lot of things on his plate. You can see where he's at right now at the Moorabbin Indoor Sports Facility. I'm not sure I got that name right, but Hogs, thanks very much for joining us.
Hey, thanks, Drewy. Copes. Yeah, no, you got the name right. So, extremely busy. I've got my work clothes on today. So, been doing a bit of demolition work during the lockdown. And
what is it? We see the toss-back machine that you've got in the background there, and I guess it's not getting too much use right now because of the COVID situation. And how tough has it been for you?
You could say it's been tough. We've been, I think about over the last 130 days, we've had 16 days of trade. So the lockdown's killed us with, we run sports competitions, tennis coaching, basketball coaching, kids parties, trampoline centre, all those sort of things. As I pan around, you're about to see what we do at the other end of the stadium.
Nice.
But,
look how big it is, too. Jeez, that's a massive place.
Yeah, I know it's a massive place, and unfortunately, it's just me. And over this shoulder here, I'm doing a bit of demolition work, put a couple extra rings up, doing all those sort of things, just trying to occupy my mind. So, yeah, really frustrating. Obviously, we're all in it together. So, it'll be another few months before any activities are happening on the inside here.
You had a video up the other day, Holy, with you working out on that machine. You look like you're in pretty good shape. You were shooting threes, or you were shooting something close to threes.
Well, yeah, no, I thought I'd put it out there more. Just I saw the NBL free agency was re-signing at the moment, so I thought if somebody wanted a very slow, non-athletic, non-defensive playing, just a person who's going to jack the ball up from the three-point line, then I'm perfect. I wouldn't do any running, so it was just a chance. I borrowed a machine off a mate of mine, so my young son's getting plenty of shots up now. This is his backyard, so what we normally use is a soccer futsal court is now being purely basketball for him.
Well, Hogs, that little breakdown of your current skills, it pretty closely fits what I was able to do throughout my entire career. So it's there may be someone still out there looking for that. You need to knock them down, though.
Hey, speaking of our career, Odie saved our career. Our last 10 years, as many shots as we missed and as many rebounds as he got, he saved us a couple of years.
Well, there's no doubt about that.
I don't know about saving.
well, what we did, we enabled you to become, in my opinion, the greatest rebounder the NBL has ever seen. So in some small way, we were able to contribute to that.
Well, I thank you for your misses. I really thank you, and the ability to let the defender, the attacking player when you're playing defense, to try and dunk me all the time. Because I got a couple of blocks, but I probably got dunked on more than anything else. But I appreciate your effort of allowing them a clean run of the basket every time.
Hey, that was Drewy every time.
Hogs, we've got a bunch of things that we want to talk to you about, and we know your time is a little limited here today. But in our podcast that we're starting, we've touched on some memorable moments, and we spoke about Copes when he hit that game winner, which you were very much a part of when we beat the Southeast Melbourne Magic. And then for me, it was the Olympics. Last week I spoke about being involved in the opening ceremony and being awarded the captain. In fact, you featured prominently in my one because you were there when, by my side, when John Coates first told us. It was a great moment. But for you, the thing that sticks out, I don't know if it's your magic moment, but one of the biggest moments that I remember playing alongside you was actually with the Australian team when we were playing Italy in that 2000 Olympic Games. I can't remember exactly how long there was to go, but I think we might have been 2 points down and you had a couple of free throws. And without a doubt, the biggest free throws I can remember in a game that I've ever played in that meant so much. Do you remember those free throws? And was it something that you think as a highlight moment for yourself?
I think you have more passion or understanding because you probably thought I wasn't going to make it.
I'm sure a lot of people thought that.
So, yeah, I think, I don't know the stage of the game, but when they called a timeout to try and freeze the game up a bit,
yes.
I remember seeing you there very nervous and very concerned about who was going to be taking the foul shots. But I just thought good thoughts, just stand up there, shoot the shot, and luckily enough they did go in. So that was it was a very important, very significant moment in of all the games that I played, and it was obviously being in Australia as well, and a lot riding on it. So there were big foul shots, but I had complete faith. I'm a 57% foul shot.
Be honest, Hoagie. Did you shit yourself? Be honest, Hoagie.
No.
You know it. You know it.
Never.
I did.
How many times did I have to go up to Copes and flick the little bad man off his shoulder because he had all these negative thoughts at the foul line? You go up there and you hit him and say, all right, just knock these in. It's like when you go to when you're playing golf. We play a bit of golf now. If you go to a par 3 that has water everywhere, if you go and pick out the worst ball in your bag, you're admitting defeat already. All right, so you go and get the best ball. You step up, you hit it onto the green, and you 2-putt or you 1-putt or whatever you can do from there.
That's
so some of the foul shot. You've got to step up there, but you got to step up there and believe it. Didn't mean they're going in, but you have to believe it.
Well, Hogs, you're understanding. If you don't make those free throws, I don't think we win that game, and we don't get to play off for a medal. So they were huge, and the thing that I remember the most in that time out, and because we're close and we played together, for me it was like I was thinking, geez, I wish it was me, because I think if you don't make these, I was worried about the impact it was going to have on you, and I was thinking, well, I know I can deal with it. If I miss it, I know. And I'm not sort of being big-headed or confident about it. It was just more a caring factor because of the consequences that were at stake.
Wow.
So thanks for your concern, but it was probably maybe I didn't quite understand the magnitude of it. But no, look, we all play games. We play certain situations. I know Tony Robinson hit a massive three-pointer for us in the Atlanta Olympics. Everyone has a little moment, and it may be a defensive effort. It may be something that happens in the training court that you're pushing someone else. But everybody has little parts, and when you look back, you say that was really significant. At the time, yes, we knew it was important. It was vital. We've always had this goal, the Australian Boomers, for a long, long time, that we won a medal. And we had our MOB shirts on their medal or bust that Long Live Laugh had organised for us. So it was always a goal, and we're trying to achieve these things. And it was just one more step along the way to try and achieve that. Unfortunately, we didn't quite get there, but one moment in time, which was one step in the whole scheme of things.
And Host, talk about your pathway, because it's a little bit different in that you were somewhat of a late starter to the game. And I mean, unbelievable career, but these days you look at the prodigies that come through from about the time they're 9 or 10, they're identified pretty early. That wasn't the case for you?
No, not at all. I was a golfer. I was playing golf.
A golfer?
Gymnastics.
That explains it.
Gymnastics. So, that's where I got my grounding. I actually went to gymnastics camp one time, believe it or not. That was the worst thing ever.
Gymnastics camp?
I think my parents wanted me out of here. So I had to go to gymnastics camp, and those parallel bars under your arms killed me. I hated it. So, no, I was a footy AFL player, and then when we moved to Queensland, there wasn't enough players back in the 80s. So I stopped playing footy. I used to windsurf and skateboard. So that was my chosen sport. But I actually watched the 1984 Olympics on TV.
Yep.
And I was about 6'9" at the stage. I'd never seen basketball before. So I thought, this sport looks pretty good. I'll give it a try. So I tried. I played the summer of 84 at school in Queensland. Moved back to Adelaide in 85. Started playing. I had one practice game for North Adelaide in the SANFL in the under-17s, under-18s, or whatever it was. But tried basketball the same day. And I liked basketball more. And 3 years later, I made the Olympic team. So It was a very quick, rapid rise from not knowing much about the sport, but also I think that helped in some ways because you didn't know the magnitude of the situation. You're like, oh, this is what everyone does. You play a sport and you play and you get better and away you go. So I was sort of lucky that I found a sport that sort of fitted my athletic abilities.
Now, Hoagie, you got speaking of your career, you got a chance to go play NBA basketball over in Philadelphia. Is there anything? You got any funny stories about the playing with the 76ers?
Well, just seem that I seem to follow you all the time. So you played for the 76ers, and then you played in Adelaide, you played for the Tigers, you played in Brisbane. So you followed me everywhere. But 76ers, that was we had an interesting bunch of characters. We had Allen Iverson and Derek Coleman as our two, and Jerry Stackhouse. So we had three big personalities on the team, and a coach that wasn't quite as powerful and as strong as their personality. So a pretty.
Who was the coach, Oaks? Who was the coach?
Johnny Davis.
Yep.
Johnny Davis was our coach, who was a Hall of Famer nearly for the Atlanta Hawks. So a great player,
I know Johnny Davis
but just didn't quite have the authority over Allen Iverson. So a great player. But we just didn't. We won 16 games. We were pretty disorganised, and a lot of the assistant coaches would sort of come past and say, "Look, this is not a normal NBA team. Understand that there's a different. It's a different dynamic here." So it was interesting times. I didn't play too many games. Played a lot in some games, and then we'd go 7 or 8 games in a row without playing, and so your emotions are up and down. Yeah, so I actually didn't even try to go back. I was like, I'd rather come back, play with your mates, and sort of have more of an impact on the game.
Oh, it was when I was there. I went and visited you, and I went to a couple of practice sessions and watched you guys working out. And it looked like a really uncomfortable situation between the coach and the player. And you talk about the coach perhaps not having the authority, but how much authority can a coach really have? I mean, Allen Iverson looked like he was almost rebelling, it seemed. It was uncomfortable sitting there watching it. For you as a player, did anyone try to grab Allen Iverson and just say, "Hey, mate, this is not helpful the way you're behaving"?
You know what? I don't blame Iverson at all for the situation, because you've watched his latest documentary about his time in prison. So you have a young kid whose mother was 15 when she had him, and I think there was 2 or 3 of them in the house. They had no money, they didn't have heating. So you come into a situation where he was testing the boundaries, and he couldn't find any boundaries. There wasn't a veteran leader on the team, which you see in a lot of NBA teams now, or general sporting teams, to try and show him the way. So he was a young kid who's given a lot of money and a lot of power, who was just trying to find his boundaries. So we go on the plane and we go to take off, and he'd take his seatbelt off and run up and down the aisle. But no one would say anything. And so then you could see him sort of pushing it. So I blame the environment, not him. So it's always hard when you're a first-year coach and you're new to the situation. So the coach was trying to find his way. I was trying to find his way. Derek Coleman was another different personality. Generally, when you get them by themselves, really good people. But in that environment, you start losing, you're not making the extra pass, maybe you're not coming to training quite as enthusiastic as you should. And it builds and builds and builds. And Philadelphia is a tough town. Brett Brown's been there for a long time, coach has been there, obviously Ben Simmons. They're blue collar. And if you don't work hard, they would boo us in the warm-up sometimes. If you weren't working hard in the warm-up, they were getting on you. So
and they'll put you on the front page of the newspaper when you're not winning. Believe that.
So if you worked hard, they didn't mind if you lost, Philadelphia crowd, but as long as you worked hard, because they're working hard and they want you to work hard. So, like I said, so I blame the environment for the situation that was. Looking at it now and seeing the way that the NBL or professional teams run, you have to have a strong personality as a coach. You have to be a leader. You have to be a disciplinarian, but you have to understand. So that's why the great coaches stay around for a long, long time, and the ones who don't have one of those aspects find it hard.
Hey, Coach, just hold on a second. Hogs, when your microphone brushes your coat, it makes a loud noise.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
So just
I'll put them both in.
Yeah. That makes it better.
Perfect.
Go ahead, Coach.
I was going to say, can either one of you guys name a coach right now who's dominant and in charge of most players? I think Popovich is the only coach I know who can sit his player down and tell him what to do. But most of these guys are superstars, and they're making so much money now that the head coaches are afraid to go off on them because they fear they might get fired.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think Popovich is the leader in that part there. I think Steve Kerr has the respect from what he's done throughout the league. Obviously, Phil Jackson had that. But yeah, when you're a new coach coming through, or you're trying to find your way, if the players find a weakness, they're going to attack that, and they're going to, if things don't quite go as well as they want, obviously the coach is the easy option out, because it's 100%. You can get a new person in when you got salary caps, and it's a lot harder.
Hey Hogs, let's talk about your NBL career, because it was an amazing career. But you started off with the Adelaide 36ers as a very young man with the big mullet. And we've got a little bit of vision of that running around as well. Have a look at my man there. Just lovely locks flowing. You were very much a free spirit back in those days, I suspect. But you played alongside a couple of legends as well. And I always hear you talk about Mark Davis and how important he was for your career as well.
I wouldn't say I was a free spirit, but no, I had some great people. If you talked about what Allen Iverson was doing, when I came to Adelaide 36ers, we had Al Green and Mark Davis as the dominant people at practice, alongside people like Mike Mackay and Scotty Ninnis was there. We had a lot of people, but Mark Davis, I was there for 4 years. He didn't call one foul ever. Beat the crap out of me every single day. Every single day. So as you come in there as an 18-year-old, he never did anything wrong. He would travel. The coach wouldn't say shit. Don Shipway wouldn't say shit. He would take 10 steps, score any, foul you, and then, good work. So that was the best grounding for me ever, because all of a sudden you come to game time and they blow a whistle. You're like, I don't think I travelled. And they're like, no, they called a foul against the other. We're like, really? Yeah. You see what happens at training? That was nothing. So our training sessions were awesome. We had some sessions, and I really enjoyed the battles that came on there, because, like I said, Mark Davis, he didn't give me one thing, and that was probably the best thing that I could have asked for, because nothing was given. You had to go and take every single thing, and they were great times. I really enjoyed my time in Adelaide, and it was a battle, and that was the ground that started, and it just went from there.
And how is it that a lot of speculation, rumour about what it was in regards to that transition, because from Adelaide to Melbourne, and a lot of people in Adelaide, I can't believe how long their memories were, because from then on out, didn't matter where you were, whenever you went back to Adelaide, they still remembered, and they kept booing you.
Yeah, no, I actually went back last year and got booed. I did a sporting lunch and got booed when I walked in there. And that most of them from my old teammates. So that was always nice. But, long memories, which is good, because it means that you must have did something right when you were there, and obviously pissed them off. But when the word came out that you were going to only take half of your salary and I could pick up $1 million to come to the Melbourne Tigers.
That's what it was.
I said it was all about the money. No, it was just a situation. I felt that I needed a change. I had my best game in Adelaide before I left. We played Geelong with Cecil Lexon, Dante's father. So I had a lazy 43-25 in that game as my last game for the Sixers. So maybe that stuck in their mind a little bit. But then I played in Spain for a bit, and then when I came back, I thought it was a time to make a change. And it's just what happened. People make moves. Adelaide, they seem to all the big guys leave. If you talk about Paul Rogers started in Adelaide, Brett Wheeler, myself, Luke Shenser.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's a lot of Adelaide seems to produce a lot of big guys. Maybe they want to play that small ball all the time with Brett Maher taking all the shots all the time. But but there wasn't too many big guys that went the other way. Daniel Johnson obviously has been at a long time there, Paul Rees, but a lot of big guys left. But hey, it is what it is. It worked out okay for me, so time to move on.
Cody, what do you think your best highlight of your career is? I mean, if you had to look back at your whole career, what's the best highlight?
Oh, shit, I wouldn't even know. So long ago, Copes. I've got a really poor memory. I'll tell you what, when I played in Brisbane, Stephen Black was on our team. Stephen Black had the best memory of anybody ever. So sometimes on the bus, we'd be going somewhere, and he'd be telling about games that I'm a part of. And I'll be sitting there thinking, all right, what happened next? I have the worst memory. And I'm like, tell me more what happened. So I remember nothing. There's you know what the best moments are times away from the court. It's Leonard Copeland banging on my door in Sydney in the middle of the night, and I look through the little peephole, and he's got all this money, and he's laughing, and he throws it at me, and he picks up and goes to the next door and bangs on the door again. It's put it this way, Leonard played cards behind some American at the Sydney casino, and he won all the money. So Copes had no talent. He just copied somebody else.
That's funny.
It's playing dominoes with you guys, and Drewy not counting up to multiples of 5 quick enough, and you taking your finger off the domino, and Copes yelling out, "You dumb mother! I'm taking your points."
Yes.
Wow.
It's at Sydney Olympics when we finished up, and I think it was Hammer, Matty Nielsen, who was in the squad, Wayne Peterson. We all got on a train and went down to Circular Quay to watch the closing ceremony. You know, they were the more moments that I remember most of all, just being with. So it's got nothing to do with games. You know, it was great to play, but it's, you know, stopovers in airports where you're sitting there for 8 hours and you're bored out of your brain. It's stupid things that happen. They're my most fond memories.
Wow. Nice.
Well, you were able to pick up 3 titles along the way. A couple with the
that sticks out a little bit.
Couple with the Melbourne Tigers, and of course the one with the Brisbane Bullets. Do you differentiate between those two? Are they things that you look back on and go, geez, you know, we weren't too bad?
Yeah, we weren't too bad. With obviously the first one was very significant, you know, for all of us to get our first championship. That was a great one. The second one, when we were down and out, I think we were 3-9.
Correct.
And we won 16 out of our last 17 games.
Yep.
And then the last one in Brisbane, we won 23 out of 24 games to finish off the season. So there's one common thread there. I can't quite work out what it is. Oh, that's right. I was a part of them all. No, but yeah, so they're all different. And, you know, you see Damien Martin, who's won 6, and you're like, wow, 6.
Yeah.
But 3, you know, you don't want to be greedy. You know, my last two were 10 years apart. So, and playing completely different roles from Brisbane from what I did with the Tigers. Yeah, so they're all different, and it's those little time capsules. I remember a long time ago we had Kevin Sheedy, the AFL Essendon coach, who came through and said, you've got to make sure every year you make the most of it, because the following year, team changes, retirements, sackings, people move on, whatever it is. So each one has a special place because of the people that you played with. And
that MVP season in 2002, do you reckon that was, although you won the MVP and absolutely deserved it, in your judgment, was that your best season?
Well, I had a lot more shots. I had a lot more shots being able to put up. I don't know why.
Why is that, Odie? Why is that?
We were giving you the ball.
No, you were injured. You
were sitting down, Drew. Don't you remember that?
So all of a sudden, the ball actually got passed one more time. So rather than just gaze to Copeland and Copeland to gaze, I had to go one more pass. So, look, I think I played all right that year. Yeah. So I got a few shots up and made a few. I don't know where we finished that year. I think I don't know where we finished overall.
I think that was the year we obviously made it to the finals, and but you personally, was it a year that you felt like that I'm at the peak of my powers?
Look, I felt like I was doing reasonably good things for over a number of years, but I made a lot more shots, a lot more. Well, I had to, because obviously you weren't there, so I was just Leonard and myself. And sometimes you see people saying, "Oh, can they handle the pressure and can you do these things?" But a lot of times there was the three of us who, I'd hit the rebounds, you'd hit the scores. Coach had to do this. Coach had to go and play defense on the best player all the time. We had expectations. Thank you for saying that, please. Thank you. Say it again, please. Well, there was always, we knew where it was going in the end. But, so we all had pressures and expectations. And I think that to do it over the length that we did was a testament to the individual, but also the closeness and the trust that we put in each other. because, we understood that you had to get 30 points or you had to get 20 rebounds or whatever it was. So we supported each other that way.
And one of the all-time great I reckon you're the greatest rebounder the game's ever seen. It's not always as sexy a stat as some of the other things that get the recognition for it, but over the course of your career, 11.3, according to the stats that I have in front of me, was your career average, which is incredible. Is it something that you acquired, or was this an innate skill? Because teaching rebounding, it's effort, and effort's a big part of it, but the actual skill of rebounding, I certainly found in the coaching caper, it's very hard to teach.
Joey, I think size plays a role in it as well.
Of course. But there's a lot of big blokes that don't get 11.5 rebounds a game.
I'm not downplaying it. I'm just saying he was the biggest guy on the court. If he didn't get rebounds, we were going to sit his ass down. That's just the way it is.
Am I still on?
Yeah, you're on.
Working? Okay,
you're on.
I call Coach was on his rant. That's all. I don't think there's any talent at all to rebounding. I enjoyed it. Mark Davis obviously instilled that into me. It's a chance to touch the ball. So offensively, if you get the shot, if you get the rebound, put the shot up. And I didn't want to play defense for too long. So if we got the defensive rebound, we're off to the races. So it was simple as that. And you can be a little bit selfish, I think, with rebounding because you want to get the ball to get our team to have another chance and an opportunity. So I wanted to get 16 rebounds a game. That was always my goal. And people say 16 rebounds, well, that's stupid. You can't get 16 rebounds. Well, I was thinking, well, it's a fair chance Lindsay's not subbing me out, so I'm playing a fair bit of time. We got 4 quarters, so if I can get 4 rebounds per quarter, and if one of those is offensively, so even if I miss my own shot, I get it back up. There's my 1 rebound on offense. So then I just need 3 defensive rebounds. It's going to be 1 or 2 foul shots. I'll get a rebound from there. So if you break it down in really small increments, it's a pretty easy challenge. So I have spoken to some young kids who have gone to college and they're like, oh, what if I don't achieve my goals? And I'm like, I never achieved my goals really. But so if I want 4 rebounds, if I know if I've got 4 rebounds in the first 5 minutes, I'm on bonus time now, so I want to try and get a few more. So it was pretty easy to really say, well, just go and get the rebounds. It's there. Push them out of the way. I enjoy the physical side of things. I wanted to try and push people around. I like to wrestle. I like to try and beat people up and down the court. And I like the mind game. So I like to try and, intimidate people, I wasn't the greatest trash talker, but I try to sort of hit them a bit and let them know if they come in the key again, I'm going to smack them again. And that was part of the fun.
And
we missed a lot of shots. We missed a lot of shots back in the day.
And we love the fact that you loved it doing that because that made our jobs a whole lot easier as well. Hey, Hogs, I know you've got to get to places, so we're running out of time. But, hey, Hogs, just quickly, talk about your Australian team experiences and what they meant to you.
Well, obviously, being a part of a team for such a long time, my first Olympics back in '88, through to 2000. So there was a core group. You were obviously a part of it. Andrew Vlahoff, Luke Longley, Shane Hill. We spent a lot of time together and had a lot of other great people come through the program. We had people like Craig Purdom, the physio, through that whole time. Peter Hardcourt, Barry Barnes was there for a long time. Adrian Hurley. So if you start, so it was family. I think family probably sums it up best. Going away on trips for 4, 5, 6 weeks at a time through Europe, we never got an itinerary. We didn't know where we were going. We just got told when we're leaving and roughly when we're coming back. And we didn't know where the games were. No mobile phones. It was great. It was really nice. There was never a dietary plan set up, I don't think. They were the best times. And we really bonded. I used to hate Southeast Melbourne Magic with a passion. John Dodge, Tony Ronaldson, biggest pain in the neck you ever meet. They were my roommates all the time. Best people on the once they're on your teammates, best people going around. I'll tell you one thing, with the Boomers, Brian Gorgon came in as a guest coach one time. So we're staying at the COE, the Institute of Sport. And I was a little bit late coming in to breakfast. We had one long table. There was one seat left alongside Gorgon. So I walked up and down twice, just with my tray in my hands, walking up and down. So I was like, man, I hate Gorgon, and there's only one seat. I can't sit on the table with the gymnast. So I was like, all right, I think I'll sit alongside of him. So I sat down, and I looked the other way for a while, and eventually started talking to him. You know what? Good guy. Really nice guy.
Great guy.
And, but so the Boomers did that for you. You know, you hated them, but as soon as they're on your team, you do anything for them. And I think that was the best thing about the program through there. And we had so many different people, and they may have only played one game, but they're still part of the Boomers. And, you know, I really want to try and get it so that everybody who plays for the Australian team gets a number like they do with the cricket. So that once you're there, your family, and you can't get away from that. And I don't care if it's one game or 200 games, really significant piece of history.
No, I love it. Hey, Hogs, two things before we let you go. Is firstly, what is it like now with the Boomers? Because you were with the Boomers the last couple of years. You went to the World Cup, heartbreaking World Cup. Has it changed significantly from when you were a player?
Yes, really has. But everything evolves. But the one thing that still drives everybody is to trying to get that medal. Everybody has the same goal. It's all about mateship. You know, I'm not a very smart basketballer, but I got told a long time ago that on our coat of arms there's two animals. There's a kangaroo and an emu. And they're the only two animals in the world that can't walk backwards. So we don't take a backward step.
I love it.
And so no matter what team you see, no matter where you go, so whether you're talking about back in 1988 with Brad Dalton and Wayne Carroll, or through to now with Andrew Bogut and Joe Ingles, everybody has the same attitude that when you play for Australia, we're a small country, we're fighting above our weight. That never changes.
And the last thing is your son, Austin Bradtke, is just a couple of seasons ago, he was a very good basketballer, but chose football. How did that happen? Money?
Good question. Opportunities is one of them, I think. With basketball, he'll sort of look at the NBL saying, well, there's 8 teams and there's, 12 people on the squad and there's, X amount of Americans. And so he was sort of coming out of high school thinking, all right, well, I don't know if I really want to go to college. And then we had a lot of calls from the AFL. So I think we visited 8 of the 10 Melbourne teams here in Victoria, and he chose Melbourne. Since then, they haven't really won a game. But
yes, they have.
But yeah, they've won a few. But really good bunch of people, really good coaches down there. Matty Egan, who's a development coach down there, and Greg Stafford on the ruck, doing wonderful things there with Goody as the head coach. Really good players, really good personnel. So he's loving his time there. He's actually left us now, so he's in the Queensland hub. So we won't see him for about 10 weeks. So you just want to see the kids obviously making the most of their opportunities, and he's chosen football, and away he goes. The younger son's doing the right thing. He's staying with basketball. So he's probably going to be a little bit taller. He's about 6'8" already at 16, and I think has better skills, a better skill set, whereas Austin was more athletic. But Jensen's still holding up the basketball hope that, that we can do something from there.
Nah, Jensen's going to be a star.
Before we let you go, quick question. How's your body holding up? Are you healthy? Any injuries?
I am crap. When I stopped playing, I got pretty bad rheumatoid arthritis, so I take medication every day now. So that hurts a lot. October 2019, I had a total knee replacement on my left knee. So I only missed 6 weeks of golf, so I came back and started winning from you guys very early. I did take a cart for the first few weeks, but having a plastic knee and a wooden leg now, I'm still getting the win there. Back surfing. As you would both know, getting up in the mornings, ankles don't work, back doesn't work, but it's a good excuse not to do anything. So I enjoy laying on the couch, eating too much food, things like that. But I got a couple of shots up the other day, which was nice. You get that feeling. You think, oh, I'm only feeling 38 now rather than 50-something. But, yeah, I'm glad that we had our career at the time that we did. But, there's no more running up and down for me.
Well, you're a superstar, my friend, and it's been a delight just to reminisce. We could go on and bang on here for hours, but unfortunately you put a very, very strict time restriction on us, and because you are a busy man, you're a healthy man, and we appreciate your time in sharing some of your memories, and all the very best. And MI Sports Facilities, if anyone wants to go have a hit or a shot of basketball.
Hey, one thing before we go.
Please.
I heard some very important news today.
Yes.
And it wasn't from the US
or
from Europe. It wasn't from the moon.
No.
It was something even rarer than that. Bernard Copeland, all in one. Well done. Wasn't the chances of that's going in. So that is an awesome effort. And just want to say well done. I haven't gone close yet. So you can shout the bar later tonight.
Well done, Alex. Well done, brother. Talk soon.
Good work.
See you,
Thanks. Thank you.